Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to take a walk into something both fascinating and super unsettling, the Uncanny Valley. Ever felt creeped out by a robot or a CGI character that looked almost human, but not quite? Yeah, that's the Uncanny Valley at work, but why do we get that weird, uncomfortable feeling? Is it just psychology? Or could there be something deeper? Something ancient or even otherworldly at play? Stick around, because we're going to dive deep into the theories, from mainstream science to the more mysterious possibilities. Let's start with a little history. The term Uncanny Valley was first introduced in 1970 by Masahiro Mori, a Japanese roboticist who was experimenting with robots designed to look human. He noticed something strange. When the robots were clearly mechanical, people found them charming, but when they became more human-like, things got weird. There was this sudden, sharp drop-off in comfort. People started feeling disturbed. He called this the Uncanny Valley, and his idea was that the more something looks like a human but falls just short, the deeper into this valley it goes. The idea resonated not just in robotics, but in how we interact with any human-like creation. But Mori wasn't the only one to think about this. The concept actually ties back to the work of Sigmund Freud. Yes, the famous psychoanalyst. Freud wrote about something called the uncanny in 1919, describing it as a strange, eerie feeling triggered by something that's familiar but has an eerie twist, like a mannequin or a lifelike doll. It's like our minds are being messed with, expecting something human but finding it slightly off. The Uncanny Valley takes Freud's ideas and amplifies them in the age of robotics and CGI. So why does this happen? Psychologists have really dug into this. They think it has a lot to do with our brain's pattern recognition systems. The human brain is built to categorize quickly. It looks at a face and says human or not human almost instantly. But when something falls into that weird middle ground, it confuses us. It's like your brain is screaming, "There's something wrong here. This should be human, but something's just not right." There's also a theory about cognitive dissonance at play. Cognitive dissonance happens when you hold two conflicting ideas at once, and your brain struggles to reconcile them. In the Uncanny Valley, you're looking at something that looks real enough, but your brain is picking up subtle clues that it's not. That internal conflict makes you feel uneasy, maybe even a little scared. But here's where it gets interesting. Researchers believe this feeling could be tied to an ancient evolutionary response. Early humans might have relied on this instinct to avoid danger. If something looked human but wasn't, it could have been a sick person, a dead body, or even a predator camouflaging itself as human. Basically, our ancestors needed to know who was safe to interact with and who wasn't. This theory suggests that the Uncanny Valley could be hardwired into us as a survival mechanism. But that raises an even creepier question. What were our ancestors really trying to avoid? Okay, so now let's take a leap into the unknown and dive into the fringe side of things. Some researchers and fringe theorists suggest that the Uncanny Valley might not just be a quirk of evolution. It could be a warning signal from our deep subconscious, an ancient memory of encountering things that looked human but weren't. This is where things get spooky. One idea is that the Uncanny Valley reaction could stem from an ancient human instinct to recognize and avoid mimics, beings or entities that try to appear human. Maybe we're not just remembering bad CGI or weird robots. Maybe we're tapping into a kind of survival instinct against something else. Could this be connected to folklore about shapeshifters, demons, or even extraterrestrial beings trying to pass themselves off as human that looked almost human but not quite? The Uncanny Valley would then be our subconscious way of recognizing these imposters. Some believe that extraterrestrial beings could have visited Earth and created beings that looked human but weren't, and our ancestors passed down this primal reaction to anything that felt too close for comfort but wasn't quite right. Or maybe we're experiencing a remnant from another timeline or dimension where human-like entities exist, but their subtle differences trigger that primal unease in us. Fast forward to today, and the Uncanny Valley is not just a theory, it's something we're confronting regularly as technology evolves. Humanoid robots, hyper-realistic CGI in films and video games, and deepfakes are pushing the boundaries of how real things can look without actually being real. Deepfakes in particular are unnerving. AI-generated videos of people that look so real, it's almost impossible to tell they're fake. But in some cases, that slight oddness, the way the eyes don't quite follow, or the lips don't move right, it puts people off. It's like our brains are saying, this is almost real, but not. There's also an ethical concern here. As technology advances and we create more and more lifelike robots, how far will we go before we blur the line between human and machine completely? Some futurists predict we'll eventually overcome the Uncanny Valley as we get used to more advanced robots and AI. But what if our unease is more than just a passing phase? What if the Uncanny Valley is a psychological red flag, warning us of something deeper? Think about it. As technology progresses, we may reach a point where it's impossible to tell what's real and what's not. Will we be able to distinguish human from android, or reality from simulation? Could this be what the Uncanny Valley is warning us about? A future where our sense of reality is constantly in question? Let's talk about some modern-day examples that have really triggered the Uncanny Valley reaction. One big one was the movie Rogue One, where they used CGI to recreate Peter Cushing's face for the character Grand Moff Tarkin. It was almost perfect, but something about the expressions and movement felt odd, and a lot of viewers were left feeling unsettled. It's the same with deepfakes. At first, you might not even notice, but once you do, it's hard to shake the feeling that you're watching something unnatural. And then there's the rise of virtual influencers, computer-generated people who have millions of followers on social media. These characters look so lifelike that people interact with them as if they were real, even though they're not. But again, there's something subtly off about their appearance or behavior that can make viewers uncomfortable. It makes you wonder, how much of our world is already being influenced by things that look human but aren't? So, what do you think? Is the Uncanny Valley just a psychological quirk, or is there something deeper at play? Are we tapping into an ancient survival instinct, or is it a warning about our future with technology, about the blending of human and machine? Could it even hint at encounters with something non-human in our past, or something lurking in our present? Next time you watch a movie with hyper-realistic CGI, or see a humanoid robot trying to smile, ask yourself, is this just bad programming, or am I reacting to something more primal? And when you feel that discomfort, maybe, just maybe, it's your brain trying to tell you that something's not quite right with our reality. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed this deep dive. Drop a comment below if you've had an experience where something just felt off. Was it a movie, a robot, or maybe something stranger? And remember, in a world where reality is becoming harder to define, always question what you see. Who knows what might be lurking beneath the surface? Stay curious, stay aware, and keep exploring the mysteries of the world around you. Until next time, keep questioning and keep looking deeper. You never know what you might find.